Let's say you want the user to advance between steps in your flow and they don't click your buttons. Instead, they send a message. So you can capture the user's message instead and be able to advance them. And their message doesn't have to be exact. You can capture, all you need to do is capture their intent. If you understand that the user means no or they mean yes and they don't explicitly type the word yes or type the word no and they don't click your buttons either, you can still advance them to the next step. Let's say the user says, I'm not interested to this question, or they say definitely or sure, or whatever the message is that implies or means yes, or just implies and means no. You can understand that intent and take them to the next step. And it's actually quite simple. So I have a user input card. It's multiple choice. So you would be the multiple choice reply type. And I allow them free text input. So that way they could click buttons and it'll work, or they could send a message if they don't click those buttons and it'll still work. I don't need to save it to a custom user field. I'm just going to capture the user input and automatically continue once we get that input. And I have this thing called Smart Words Check. And what I do is I have another flow that basically tags the user with smart words, and then I send that off to Dialogflow. Here I have Dialogflow intent, and I have all the different ways that users might say yes. So they might say yup or cool or I'd like that or okay. I actually have 50 different phrases that users might say to mean yes. And I do the same thing for no. So here are all the ways that users might express no in a message and without actually typing the word no. Doesn't need to be an exact match. It's just an expression through a message. So you can understand that their intent is no. So what I do is in each of these Dialogflow intents, I just need to add the smart words tag in the input context here. If the user sends a message and it hits this intent, then it'll automatically add a no tag to Manychat. So you need these tags to exist in Manychat, obviously, first. But if you add the tag to the output context and the user triggers this Dialogflow intent, it'll tag the user no. And it'll do the same thing here for yes. You have a yes tag here. If the user sends a message, it triggers this Dialogflow. It'll tag the user in Manychat with yes. And then that way in our flow, we just need to, after we do that quick check, and it's pretty quick, we just need to check if the user's been tagged. Have they been tagged yes? Okay, great. We'll give them this message. Have they been tagged no? Okay, then we'll give them this message. And then we can continue on. So we can go to the next. Maybe you have a multi-step flow and you're asking some questions, trying to qualify a lead. So the first thing we'll want to do before we get to the next question is we'll want to reset all that. And how do you reset all that? Just remove the tags. So I have a flow where I just list out all of my smart words tags and I remove them. Really just 3 flows. So I have one flow that does the check. I check to see if the tags, if they've been tagged, if they have, and then continue on, and then I'll want to reset that. So I'll want to remove the tags, and here, if they said no, it ends there. But over here, I'm going to continue on because they said they're interested, and this question says, okay, thinking of buying in the next 6 months. And, these buttons and those Dialogflow intents, they can be anything you want. I'm just using no and yes as examples. So we just repeat the process. Do the check. Has the tag been added? Yes, okay. Then give them this message. If no, give them this message, and then reset. And you can keep going, and your flows are pretty manageable. It doesn't have to be. I really just linked to 2 different flows, and I have my conditional steps. Let's load up my demo. Are you looking to buy a house, Josh? Yup. So I didn't actually type the word yes. I typed the word yup. And that's on my smart words list. So I got that response, and then it resets, and then it asks me again, thinking of buying in the next 6 months. Not really. And it does a check. Okay, no problem. Take your time. So you can see how quick that was. Okay, so let's try one more scenario here. Let's say the user doesn't provide a message that means yes or means no, but they send some message that is not relevant. Well, we can just redirect them back to our step and get them to answer our question. Okay, so let's click preview. Looking to buy a house. Are you an agent? So this is a message that isn't relevant to the question that I asked. And you can see that just the user wasn't tagged yes, they weren't tagged no, so we just send them back and ask them the question again.